What's up, UP Nation? This is another edition of Unconventional Playbook. As always, take the time. If you view this video, hit that like and subscribe button. It's time for a change, UP Nation. And I know that, the season's been over for a couple of weeks now. Still settling in. The Minnesota Vikings aren't playing. Watch some of the playoffs today. And, man, the one thing that I can tell you is that the four teams that were left remaining this Sunday, playoff weekend, man, those are some well-coached, disciplined teams. And it shows you where you need to get right to be able to make it to that level. And so I think the Minnesota Vikings just need to make some changes. We don't need to make a whole lot of changes. We're still that dog. We still have one of the best teams in the NFL. Hell, we won 14 games, 14-4 this year with Sam Darnold. And you figure with KOC getting the contract extension, J.J. McCarthy being our future franchise quarterback, there are some better days ahead. But I still think we need to make some changes for sure. I'm just watching the NFL games today. UP Nation, did you watch? What are some of the things that you saw? Put them in the comments. Where the Minnesota Vikings have to be the same or the Minnesota Vikings have to improve. We've had multiple podcasts. There are some great podcasters out there that have hit on this subject. Everybody is pretty consistent that the Minnesota Vikings need to revamp their offensive line, and that has to be a priority, more specifically, their interior offensive line. You've got to get rid of the center and the two-guard spot and improve that spot. That will help the Minnesota Vikings tremendous. No more Reisner. No more Bradbury. No more Ingram. Upgrade, 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 upgrade is what the Minnesota Vikings have to do. And it has to be a priority. We've always been this type of organization that really kicks the can down the road or tries to do patchwork when it comes with the offensive line. That can't happen this year. That cannot happen this year. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah has to make sure that we look at the offensive line as being a paramount thing that we have to improve. We have to do it. We have to do it. We have to do it. No ifs, ands, or buts. No excuses. When we step into training camp next year, that offensive line needs to be fortified. The only question mark on the offensive line going in should be whether or not Christian Darrisaw is ready to go. And we need to handle him with kid gloves because he is the franchise on that offensive line that's going to protect J.J. McCarthy's blind side. We've got to fix it. We got to fix it. We got to fix it. No ifs, ands, or buts. We got to fix it. Second part of this thing is that I haven't heard a whole lot of people touch on this, but this is just my feeling. I could be in the minority when it comes to this, but I'm super serious about this. KOC needs to think about giving up the play call. I don't know whether he wants to bring in another offense coordinator. I don't know if there's anybody in-house that he trusts to do that. But I think it would make our team a whole lot better and consistent on offense. See, I think when it comes to coaching, I think it's hard to have X's and O's responsibility because you guys have no idea how much time it takes to prep a game plan, design your plays, do installations, and call plays on Sunday, and be the CEO of everything else. I think that's taxing. Very few guys can do it. Very few guys have been successful in trying to do it, in my opinion. I think KOC needs to give up the play calling to somebody that he trusts. Or else during the offseason, there should be some sort of mentoring of somebody to get him ready to be able to do that job. That would be a weight lifted off of KOC's shoulders. And I think he would be a great game manager if he didn't have play calling to worry about. See, the thing about KOC is I think KOC is a super intelligent guy. But sometimes super intelligent guys can get overloaded. They think they can handle way more things than they actually can and be effective. I think the more fires you have your irons are in, I think it weakens everything else that you do. You have to be able to put your irons in places that are most important. And if you have somebody that can play call for you, KOC can be effective in a lot of other areas, man. I just honestly believe that. I haven't heard a whole lot of talk about that. I've heard people bring it up and mention it, but no one has actually done a deep dive into whether or not KOC should play call or not. I look at KOC and he's probably the type of guy that doesn't want to give up the play calling duties. I think it's something that he has waited his whole career to do. Really didn't have the opportunity to do that with the Rams. Sean McVay was the play caller when he was there. KOC kind of handled the quarterbacks, and he handled a lot of the installation in practice in terms of the plays. I know he was always in McVay's headset during the course of the game, but McVay was the guy that was calling the plays. And now, since KOC's become the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, he's had play calling duties. And I think at times, him being spread thin has shown up on Sunday in football games. Just think about it. Be with me, UP Nation. Think about what I'm talking about. What are your thoughts about that? Put them in the comments. You think KOC should be doing the play calling? Should there be a change in terms of play calling? See, I think it's time for a change, man. Paramount priority, prioritize that offensive line, give up the play call. Thirdly, another thing that should be on the list that must happen, and it has to happen. The Minnesota Vikings have to fix that interior defensive line. As I said in previous podcasts, I think you can do that in the draft. This draft is tremendously deep when it comes to defensive tackles. But I think the Minnesota Vikings have to make that a priority. They can't kick the can down the road. They can't try to do this patchwork thing, pick up guys here and there, take guys off practice squads, this undrafted free agents. No, you need a hoss. You need a hoss on that defensive line, someone that is looking for violence, someone that is about business when running backs come in there, and someone that can put a little bit of pressure up the middle. Someone that just has bad intention on that defensive line. Harrison Phillips, good player, solid D-tack, but you need somebody in there that's a little bit more nasty, that's a little bit more gritty, that's a little bit more grind. That's what I want to see from the Minnesota Vikings. Got to change, man. There are changes that need to be made. Last but not least, man, we're going to talk about the running back spot. Is Aaron Jones the guy for the next year or so for the Minnesota Vikings? I like Aaron Jones, man, but I'm looking for someone that has a little bit more thump to him and someone that can stay a little bit more healthy than Aaron Jones. And it's kind of funny that we're saying that because Aaron Jones played in every game this year, but did he play in every game healthy? He was kind of dinged up here and there. Man, the guy that I like is that young man out of Arizona State, Mr. Scatterbutt. I think that kid is going to have a tremendous career, and I want him on the Minnesota Vikings behind a fortified offensive line. We've got to improve the running game. I think we're headed in the right direction. We really haven't had a running back since Dalvin Cook. I think we made a great attempt with Aaron Jones. But I don't know, Aaron Jones took a step back this year in terms of what he was the last 5 games with the Green Bay Packers. So my question to you, UP Nation, is was it a combination of our offensive line being bad, or did Aaron Jones actually take a step back? I don't know. That's why it's hard to really make a decision on Aaron Jones, whether or not you want him back or not. I don't know if his ineffectiveness at times And keep in mind, he ran for over 1,000 yards this year. So I wouldn't call him necessarily ineffective. But I think we all agree that we need to improve our running game. So I don't know if that level of running back that we feel like we need is still in Aaron Jones. I don't know if the offensive line kind of hindered him a little bit, or was it Aaron Jones and his injuries not being effective, especially for the Minnesota Vikings down the stretch. D-backs, we got to get some. We got to get some younger D-backs. Everybody almost, in the secondary is just, man, they're just long in the tooth back there. Stephon Gilmore's thinking about retirement. Shaq Griffin has got a lot of notches on his belt. Harrison Smith is thinking about retiring. Like, we need some young dudes back there, man. Playing with a lot of old guys back there. So improving that cornerback spot, secondary spot, whatever you want to call it, paramount as well. These changes need to happen. If I had to prioritize every spot, man, I'm going offensive line, defensive line first. Because I think you have to fortify the trenches. That's where the game is won. It's not sexy. It's not fun to watch, but you have to have guys in there that can battle, that can bruise. And I think the Minnesota Vikings are missing that physical. After that, I'm looking at running back. I think we need an insurance policy to help JJ. We need an insurance policy to take some of the pressure off JJ and to stay on schedule. If we have an offense where JJ McCarthy can stay on schedule and make those third and longs, third and short, KOC loves the play action. I just think our offense improves a lot in those areas. So running back will be third on my list. And then you can start messing with the secondary, man. But I think these changes have to happen. You know the song, changes have to happen this year. Like, we can't fail in that department. And we've got the salary cap flexibility to be able to do it. Like they say, man, sometimes change is good. And I think when it comes to the Minnesota Vikings, change is needed and change is a must. Please take the time to hit that like and subscribe button. Really helps the station grow. I really appreciate it. It will help with the algorithms, and we'll continue to pump out the best content we can pump out. This has been Unconventional Playbook. UP Nation, we will make sure to see you when we see you. Latrey, take us home, man.